Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to Jim's 5am Club. It's a wet old day in Sydney town, so what I normally do whenever it's wet is I normally come to wharf number 6, which is a fairly quiet wharf here at Circular Quay, undercover, out of the elements, where I can do my 5am Club. Happy Tuesday, the second work day of the week, and we'll see how we go. But what we'll do today is like what we do on most days. We'll do a vlog and hopefully see a couple of ferries moving to and fro. I'm really pleased to see that the P&O cruiser is still in here, docked at the International Passenger Terminal, and hopefully life becomes a little bit more normal here in Sydney, following a couple of years of COVID pandemic issues, but it's been quite tricky. Anyway, what we'll do today is we'll go through a book summary, and the book summary for today is entitled Energise. Energise, by an author known as Simon Alexander Orrig. So, as you can probably understand, this book is all about generating and keeping, maintaining and leveraging your energy sources. So just like everything in the world, energy is the source. Energy is the spark that we need to live. I guess, as an important point, and to get the most out of each and every day. So the author kicks off the book with a call to action for each and every one of us, where he suggests that what we need to be doing is we need to build, where possible, a moat around our sanity, a moat around our energy sources, our energy levels, so that we can get through the day and make the most of every opportunity. And in order to build a moat, a metaphorical moat I may add, is that we need to establish boundaries to protect that is important to our healthy functioning. We need to make our health our priority. I guess it's pretty basic, but it's amazing how often we get carried away with work, with family, with all the activities in our lives, and we have a fear of missing out. And that fear of missing out eats into our recreation time, our sleep time, our rest time, our regeneration time, and it could actually impact in a negative way our healthy functioning of our bodies, minds, spirits, and every aspect of our lives. So the bottom line is that we need to have an energy level. We need to have energy to spark and deliver the energy bursts that we need to follow and fulfill our basic and our most immediate desires. Because if you haven't got the energy level, if you haven't got that will to do things, then you can't really live the life that you're destined to live. You can have all the best intentions in the world, all the best dreams, but if you haven't got the energy to do the things that you want to do, then you may end up suffering and living a lesser life than what you are capable of doing. So there's a profound point here that the author brings up, and something that we need to consider. Because what happens in our lives is that we end up getting our best insights when our mind is still, during those still moments. And it's quite interesting to add that within the Christian church, within the Greek Orthodox Church, stillness is something which is highly valued. And we have monks who are called hesicists, who live in issachia, who don't talk, who just stay silent, who stay quiet. And for them, this is one way of accessing the kingdom of God and being able to contemplate, to pray, and to achieve the greatest end that one can possibly achieve, and that is to become one with God. And as we say here, the best insights, the greatest insights that one can achieve is through the stillness of one's mind. I guess we all fall victim to being busy, and trying to live a busy life. But what the author here is suggesting is that we need to sometimes step back. We need to take an opportunity to moor our boats, just like the P&O ship up there is moored for a time in a peaceful, quiet, secluded harbour like the cove here at Circular Quay. So too, we are called from time to time to moor our boats and to take solace in a peaceful environment, so that we can regenerate, so we can recuperate, so we can recreate the things, and to tap into some opportunities where we can make the most of that silence, and to achieve and to tap into some of the greatest insights in our lives. So we need to schedule time. The bottom line here from this author is that unless you do something about it, it's not going to happen. So the author calls us to schedule some time for rest and recharge in order to unlock and release our greatest creativity. We need to book time, we need to schedule time in our diaries for our well-being, for stillness, which will help leverage and unleash our creativity and our ability to connect with things that you wouldn't normally be able to connect with if you're busy and you're overwhelmed with the things that go on in our lives on a daily basis. And some people get caught up in being busy all the time, thinking that they're adding value, thinking that they're making progress. But the bottom line, to a certain extent, is they're achieving nothing. They're just using that busyness as an excuse to not tap into their inner world, to not connect with God, and to not make the most of the gifts that they've got available to them. An example of how this works in a very, very important and significant way. Thomas Edison, the great inventor, says in his biography, in his diaries, in his writings, and in his observations, that he was able to get his most insights. He was able to get his fresh insights by spending an hour a day at the end of the dock fishing. So just like I'm here on wharf number 6, the quiet one, Thomas Edison, like I have come here today, would come to the end of the dock with his fishing rod every day for an hour. And what he would do is he would fish for an hour a day. He'd get his line, throw it into the water, and just sit there for an hour. But what a lot of people don't realise is that he never caught any fish during all those times that he was fishing. This is an interesting, profound moment. So he would go fishing, he would go to the end of the wharf and enjoy solace, enjoy the quiet of fishing with his fishing rod, his fishing line, but he never caught a fish. And the reason why he never ever caught a fish was that he never used bait on his hook. The whole intention of him coming to the end of the wharf and throwing in his line was to go to a place and have his place of where he was not disturbed. And so much so he didn't want to be disturbed by people, but he also didn't want to be disturbed by fish picking at his line or picking at his hook or picking at his bait. So he would throw his line in unbaited, knowing that it wouldn't interest any fish, so he would have time to think and contemplate. And he was there for an hour every day, rain, hail or shine, knowing that he wasn't going to be disturbed and he could have time to think, time to reflect. And he said that sometimes the most productive times in your life, sometimes the most productive things that you can do is to just do nothing and be there, just to be without being, which is really, really powerful. So the author then goes on to say, and this is still another important point, that if you don't design your life, if you first don't design your day and schedule your day, somebody else will see that you're doing nothing and come and disturb you. They'll come and interrupt your quiet time. They'll come and fill in that blank that you have in your diary. So make sure that your diary is full of the things that you want to do. And if you want to do nothing, then schedule nothing into your diary. And like Thomas Edison, use that time of non-disturbance to recreate, to come up with your own things. Make it your creativity moment where you spend your time with yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that, and it's apparently welcomed and recommended by people who know what they're talking about. We should also make sure that we're scheduling deep work time in our diaries when we know that our energy is at its highest. We need to schedule rest and recreation at times in our diary when we know that our energy is at its lightest or at its weakest. And we're all different. We're all got different times of day that we function best. Some are morning people, some are evening people, some are middle of the day people. But the author here is saying that identify, understand what makes you tick and make the most of it by scheduling your most grueling, your most important activities at the time of the day when you're at your best, so that you can enjoy and be the most productive you can be and do your deepest work and your most important work at the time when you're at your strongest and best. So the call to action once again from this author is to wake up and stop treating your health as a side hustle. We need to get more sleep. We need to get adequate sleep. We need to exercise to energize ourselves. We need to eat smarter and become a waterholic. Artemis, my young daughter, this is a message for you. Water is the fountain of energy, the fountain of life. and we need to drink enough water every single day to enable us to function as best we can and to function properly. So become a waterholic. Drink as much water as you can. And I think science is suggesting that if you drink about 30 mils per kilo, that would be the right amount of water, or the minimum amount of water you should be drinking, or the optimum, I should say. The optimal amount of water is 30 mils per kilo. So if you're 60 kilos, 30 mils per kilo is 1.8 litres or 2 litres of water. And we need to do that religiously every day. We need to be waterholics. So a powerful message from this book, and to understand that we need to be proactive with our health, because there are always things that are getting in the way. There are always things that are stopping us from getting the adequate sleep that we need. There are always things that are stopping us from exercising. There are things that are stopping us from eating smarter. So there are so many things that are getting in our way and limiting our ability to be the best that we can be. So we need to rewire ourselves. We need to actively do the things that we need to do to change. We need to be kind to ourselves in this rewiring. We need to do what matters most, to focus and to achieve our priorities. We need to focus our energy on what you can control rather than on the things that you can't control. And you need to begin before you're ready. There's no use waiting till you're ready to do the things that you need to do. And the recommendation that a lot of people say, a lot of motivational speakers say, is that we need to start before you're ready, because sooner or later you'll get ready. But it's by starting and activating your mind, your body, your spirit, and moving in a direction you want to move in, that you'll become more ready and more adapted to what you're doing. So we need to focus on progress rather than perfection. If you're moving, if you're progressing, then that is more important than being perfect at what you're doing. And we need to be consistent in our intensity and to deliver the greatest outputs at the time when we're at our most energetic. So we need to supercharge. We need to become eternal students. We need to be continuously curious about our world, to be asking the right questions, and to be considering the first, second, and third level consequences of our actions. Because at the end of the day, you are your greatest project that you will ever work on. You're the masterpiece of your world, of your life. Far more important than anybody else in your life. So you need to focus on yourself, and the call to action is to give yourself the highest priority. Because unless you're fulfilled, unless you're happy, unless you're delivering on your own promises to yourself, then you're not going to be all that much or all that good to anybody else, and you're certainly not going to be the right example to others, because there needs to be a balance between what you give and what you take. But you need to promise yourself, you need to give yourself on a daily basis in order to have the energy, to have the willpower, and to have that sense of achievement, to continue giving. You can't just give and not take and not reward yourself, because you'll end up burning out, is the message that comes from this book and this author. So we need to protect ourselves. We need to prioritise our needs over others, and we need to progress faster by saying no by cancelling the subscription that we have to clutter. Clutter in our minds, clutter in our timetables, clutter in our homes, in our environments. We need to free ourselves up to become the best version of ourselves. And we need to act like we're the CEO, we're the president of our lives, and to make it a priority to sleep, to exercise, to take time off, to recreate, to manage our diaries based on the things that are important to us rather than the things that are important to other people, and to live our lives to its fullest. So there we go. Thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Jim's 5am Club on this wet Tuesday morning. It stopped raining for the time being, so it looks like it may be clearing up there. The sky is starting to open up and you can start to see the first light over this beautiful, magnificent Circular Quay Bay. So I wish you all a wonderful day, a productive and purposeful Tuesday, where we can hopefully learn something new and incorporate it into our lives. Make sure that we live, learn and pass it on, and add value to our lives and the lives of others as well. Take care, happy Tuesday, and thank you for tuning in to my YouTube channel, and pass the word around. I come to you every day with a book summary, with a message of empowerment, and what I try to do is I try to showcase and highlight the beauty of this country around us and overlay it with a message of support, a message of empowerment, so that you, I and everybody else can learn something new, generate some life hacks from OPE, from other people's experiences, and where possible incorporate it into our daily schedule and make it ours. Because at the end of the day, as my friend John Nematala always used to say, knowledge isn't power. Knowledge is potential power. What we need to do is we need to apply that knowledge, to use that knowledge, to leverage that knowledge, because when you apply knowledge in terms of applied knowledge, then that is where power comes for each and every one of us, and that's where we can become examples to others. That's where we can learn from doing, learn from making mistakes, and understand that it's a stepping stone. It's a path that we need to take in order to grow and develop and live a fulfilled existence, and to express ourselves in the best possible way we can. So take care, wishing you all the best, and we'll chat again. And once again, please share this channel with all your friends and family, with your children, because there are opportunities to learn something from the masters, from other people's experience. And as I say, all I am is an emissary, I'm a messenger, bringing to you what other people have learned and other people have passed on. Take care, yasas, and bye for now.